that didn't discuss the other night, good or bad?
No, I was actually encouraged in watching the film. I was encouraged with our effort. Our execution obviously is not where it needs to be, and I don't expect it to be on October the 30th, but I thought our effort was good. Rebounding the ball obviously is a concern to me. Something we worked on today in practice. We're going to have to figure that out because there's not a very good rebounding effort as a team on against Mines. So that's an area where we want to dominate. We want to have an identity, and right now we don't.
Two areas where you guys kind of struggled a little bit in the scrimmage: rebounding and post defense. Kind of talked about it a second ago. How do you guys kind of improve and get better in those two areas?
We work on it. We came back the last 2 days. We worked on post defense and keeping the ball out of the post, without a doubt, and again rebounding the ball. To me, what you find out in those games, you got to come back and practice and try to build those habits and get better. And that's and challenge guys. They have to take it on as a challenge.
McKinley and Dom playing together. Both guys that can play on the ball, play off the ball. Yep. How have you kind of seen those two get cohesive through the preseason?
Absolutely, and I think. I throw Laz in there too. Laz is a guy that's really good with the ball. You put Laz and Dom and McKinley on the floor together, and you got three really good ball handlers, three really good passers, three guys that can shoot it. I think there's going to be a lot of multiple type lineups that we're going to be able to use. Like that. I throw Dell in there as well, and then you got guys like Naaman and George and Deshaun who are good scorers from the wing. It's nice to have two ball handlers on the floor at all times, and not that we'll always have two on the floor, but it sure is nice.
Dom has obviously done a little bit off the ball and the point during his time here. McKinley, I didn't see him in high school, but it strikes me as a guy that's always had the ball in his hands. How's he adjusting perhaps to, in that kind of lineup, maybe having it in his hands a little bit less?
Yeah, it's fine. He's fine because, again, we're teaching our guys to be basketball players. And I think, Derek White's a really good example of that. Derek was really good with the ball in his hands and ball screens, but he was also really good without the ball, using screens and coming off screens. And McKinley is no different. We want him, and Dom is no different. We want our guys to be as good with the ball in their hands as they are off the ball, using screens, setting their man up, and scoring off pin downs, scoring off curls, scoring off flare screens, and that sort of thing. So, ideally you want everybody to be like that, but I think there are certain players that have certain strengths, certain players that have certain weaknesses, and it's my job as a coach to put our guys in a position to use their strengths and maybe not expose their weaknesses.
When Laz kind of gets overlooked in this recruiting class, but he seems like a guy who has a lot of potential.
Laz is going to be a really good player. He's really high basketball IQ, extremely high basketball IQ, understands the game, gets everything you're saying as a coach. We put in a new offense the other day that it's a Euro offense, so obviously he's used to it. But it's like, you didn't have to tell. He just knows. He just knows how to play the game. You can't put a price on that as a coach. And he's still figuring out the speed of the game. He's still figuring out the physicality of the game. He's got to play a little bit more aggressively, and his softness is not going to cut it. Division I basketball at the level we play. So he's getting better.
Kind of breaking some of those Euro habits?
Not necessarily breaking them, but adding to. Again, he's got pretty good habits, but we have to add the things that are going to allow him to have success in this game, which is like staying in a stance, using his length, being stronger with the ball, protecting the ball. Because the Euro game is a little bit more of a finesse game than the college game is here. And so he's got good skills, good instincts, good IQ, but he's got to add to that some of the grit and the toughness that is going to allow him to have success here.
Off tomorrow, I believe, and then back at it on Friday. It'll be a week out from the opener at that point.
Yeah.
Don't
remind me.
Well, I know does the intensity ratchet up? Do you start game planning yet?
No game planning yet. No, intensity shouldn't ratchet up. No. we should have intensity every day. The intensity level should not waver one day to the next, 1 week to the next. It's, again, our motto was, it's on. When we step through that tunnel, we step on the floor, it's got to be a mentality. So I hope we don't ratchet it up. That means we've been lollygagging here these last few weeks, and so I just want to continue to get better and focus, and certainly the focus becomes a little bit sharper, I think, and the intensity in terms of, hey, we better figure this out. You know, we can't be talking about rebounding on November the 11th after we played Northern Colorado. We can't be talking about post defense or ball screen defense. We got to be doing it. And again, we're not going to be maybe a midseason form, but we need to be certainly heading in that direction. And it's a young team, and but, you know, intensity and energy and effort make up for a lot of mistakes on the basketball floor. And that's, if anything, that's really what I want to see day in and day out.
When do you start maybe looking at Northern specifically?
I started watching film on them last night, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but again, they got a new team. They had two really good guards sitting out last year.
Yeah.
They got the Davis kid who had a great year for them. They're gonna have 3 guards that can play at a lot of places. So they're very good offensive team. They're going to put a lot of pressure on our ball screen defense.
As far as starting lineup is concerned, how much do you kind of plan on mixing and matching on a situational basis?
I don't know. I started thinking about it, but I haven't started really making any decisions yet. We still have a week of practice. We still got a scrimmage this weekend that is going to allow me to make some decisions. These guys, the good news is we've got, I think, 11 guys that, as I look at, that are probably in the rotation. And now, what are the rotations going to be? What's the starting lineup going to be? I don't have any idea right now. I really don't. I mean, got some ideas, but certainly nothing definitive.
So there's still kind of a lot of spots up for grabs.
Absolutely,
here, then.
there are. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely there are.
Are you a little surprised that Lucas maybe hasn't kind of stood out from the pack in that rest of that group?
Well, look, I told the team today, we've got a lot of guys in the muck. I'm looking for separation. There's been maybe a guy on the perimeter that separated himself, maybe a guy in the post, but I don't want our guys ever to feel like they've got it made.
Right.
And they've got a starting spot sewn up, because this is a team that's got a lot of talent on it, and I want our guys to be able to feel like if they're not in the starting lineup on opening night and they want to get there, that they can play themselves into that. And that's what we practice, and look, not every coach is like that. There's not a lot of coaches that say, hey, here's my starting 5, here's my 6th man, here's our 8-man rotation, and we're going with it, and I don't do that. I've got 11 guys, and I want them to feel like they. Now, when it comes time to make those decisions, now if you're not in that rotation or if you're not in that starting lineup, you can't pout about it, And I'd rather be in a program that will allow you to play yourself into that lineup than one that kind of has those set roles and spots kind of sewn up before the season even starts. It's just not who I am and what I believe in. Because again, I look at it as a player. As a player, if I'm the starting 5, I want that starting 5 to be set. If I'm not in the starting 5, I don't want that starting 5 to be set. So, and more guys are out of the starting lineup than are in the starting lineup. So, I want it to be a fluid process as the season goes, because I think that's how you get better. We get better in practice by pushing each other and competing every day.
Thanks, Zach.
Yep.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.